Citi Scapers, and welcome to another edition of Citi Scape right here on Citi TV. I am Emefa. So it's a season of love, and although we focus on lovers, we should also focus on what happens when that romantic love is lost. How do you deal with a terrible breakup, and how do you pull yourself out of a funk? Well, I've brought Apiorkor here today at Hotel Caserere right here in East Legon to have that conversation to help you if you're going through a bad breakup. So this is Citi Scape. Let's go.
What are your opinions? Join the conversation on social media with the hashtags Citi Scape and MyScape, and via the handle at Citi Scape GH as well on Instagram.
Hello there, welcome back. We're still here at Hotel Caserere, but this time I have a ceiling brush with me.
Apiorkor. You know what? I'll let you have it because Emefa really has her moments. I always
season of love.
But that wasn't a loving comment.
It was. That's how I express love. So, Apiorkor.
Anyway,
a few people have reached out to me.
My name is Apiorkor.
Oh right, okay. The ceiling brush. People have reached out to me asking about how to cope with the season of love, especially when you're going through a breakup. I mean, you don't plan these things. Can you imagine being newly single around Valentine's Day in general? So, I mean, I put it to you. How would you pull yourself out of a terrible breakup?
I mean, it's funny that I should mention because, I mean, same thing, season of love. There are two scenarios. There's one lady who reached out to me and said she'd been dating her boyfriend. Well, I actually know the couple. So she'd been dating her boyfriend for almost 4 years. And this is the kind of couple you knew. And you just knew by looking at them that they were heading towards marriage. And then out of nowhere, the guy says he's not interested anymore. And I mean, they end up breaking up. And then here's the catch. 6 months later, he's married someone else.
Oh my goodness. That means he was dating while he was dating
and she couldn't tell any of us this. But I think because of the season, it's February, all the lovey-dovey stuff. Exactly. So she's not been able to deal with it.
That's really
Now, on
sad.
the other hand, a gentleman friend of mine was with a girl for 2 years. Okay? And again, I know this. I didn't know the girl too well, but at least I know them as a couple, as an item. Now, he's done everything for this girl. He's not overly rich. Young guy, young executive, early 30s, works really hard, trying to make a living, and he's the kind of person who's very generous. So you can imagine how he would take care of his woman. Her car broke down some time ago. They said it was an engine problem. He actually went, this is just in last year, 2018, Valentine's Day. He bought her a new car. I mean, it wasn't from a showroom, but somebody bought you a new car, second-hand or not. That's a great big thing.
That was after a year of being together.
Or so. Okay.
Where do I find me one of those?
But now here's the thing, my friend. So he ended up having a one-night stand with another woman. Okay, yeah. He was very sorry, very remorseful, but the girl said she couldn't deal with it, so she broke up with him. And now he's devastated, and I'm sure she's also hurting, but she just feels like this is the way she needs to move on.
Of course, I mean, some things you just can't get over, especially something as bad as a one-night stand.
Right. But I'm saying these things because I feel like different scenarios, different relationships, different people present different ways of having to deal with a bad breakup. People have said you shouldn't cry over someone you shouldn't cry over spilt milk, basically. So someone who hurt you, like maybe my friend did to this girl, don't cry. But I think it's okay to cry.
I think it's definitely okay to cry. I mean, my first thing is to go through the motions.
Very important.
And it's very important also to have the right people around you, like the right friends, people who understand truly what you're going through, people who understand when you're out with them and you just burst into tears, and people who understand when one day you are really happy, you think you can conquer the world, and another day you feel like locking yourself up and not talking to anyone. So my first thing is go with the motions.
Yeah.
I mean, it ebbs and flows, doesn't it? I
Of
mean,
course.
you're not going to be okay throughout the
I'm
whole
not
thing.
a crier. My thing is to bury myself in work and all the things that I could possibly become.
Yeah.
Somehow my mind works like this. I need to be a better me than I was with you, so that you look back and you say, oh, wait a minute, I made a mistake. That's how I operate. But some people do need to sit down, lock themselves in a room, cry for a few days.
And even if you cry,
You know?
I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to throw yourself into
No,
work
no,
or whatever.
not
I mean,
at all.
it comes and goes. And
Not
I've learned
at all.
over the years that it's okay to be vulnerable and it's okay to be human.
Yes.
Especially as ambitious women, like you and me, you feel like you have to go into autopilot, you have to be a robot, you have to be free of all emotions in order to accomplish your dreams. But I think if you're hurting, that's also part of being human, and it's okay to embrace
and
that.
Yes, on being human. I mean, that includes men as well.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, viewers, I'm speaking to you directly because I know there are probably a lot of men who are watching us who have been through bad breakups or who are suffering in a relationship and might end up breaking up. And you know, society tells you that you're a man, you need to be strong. You can't let your emotions show on you. You know, don't wear your heart on your sleeve. Look, your heart is your heart. Your feelings are your feelings, and you're allowed to express them.
Yeah.
So if you're hurting, by all means, let it all out. Because if you don't and you bottle it up, what happens is that depression might set in.
Yes,
That's
I was
the
gonna
extreme,
go
but
to
it's
that.
not hard to
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
Depression
it's
might
not.
set-
It's
no,
definitely not hard.
it's not.
Because if you don't explore your emotions, you're not able to fully understand what it is you're going through, and then it spills over into other relationships or even the way you interact with people.
Of course.
I have some friends when they're going through bad breakups, they just lash out at random people, like tell taxi drivers off and, you know, do all sorts at work. So I think it's important, even though it's important to cry, it's also important to take a logical approach to your emotions,
Definitely.
understand why you feel the way you feel, and then connecting that to building yourself up. I think even though you're all emotional and whatever, you have to understand the psychology behind it.
Definitely.
So you also have to take an active step to build yourself up.
Definitely.
One way you can do that is affirmations, positive affirmations. When you assess why you feel the way you feel, you can connect those to your affirmations. If he said you are boring, you can say to yourself, look in the mirror, because there is research that shows that saying positive things to yourself in the mirror has a positive effect on your psyche. So telling yourself, I'm not boring, I am fun, I am beautiful, I'm not fat, or I'm curvy, whatever it is, whatever you felt you lost in that relationship, tell yourself you have. Look in the mirror and, you know, say to yourself, say to Emefa, she's beautiful, she's smart, you know, so on and so forth.
Definitely. And I mean, piggybacking on that, I think that it's very important not to blame yourself for what has happened. I mean, and I'm going to look at this from two different angles.
Unless you had a one-night stand.
Yeah, so I'm going to look at it from two different angles. It's very easy to sit down and blame yourself. There's, on one hand, you who is the victim. So this one night stand thing, for example, you're asking yourself, what did I do wrong? Did I not, was I not sexy enough? Was I not loving enough? What pushed him or her to go and cheat on me with this other person? Understand that it's never your fault. People make choices. Even if you had the nastiest attitude, the person you're in a relationship with who claims to love you, and in this case wants to spend the rest of their life with you at some point, if they respect you enough and love you enough, and as much as they're saying they are, then if you want to go and have a one-night stand, tell me that. Because see, it's embarrassing. You're dealing with the embarrassment, especially if your relationship is more of a public one. Everybody knows, all your friends know that you are together. You are not the closet girlfriend or closet boyfriend. And then all of a sudden you're not together anymore. It's a lot of embarrassment.
And to have to answer those difficult questions to everyone.
How do you tell people? How do you even start telling yourself? Because I mean, if you've been together for a year or more, you become like glue. This person is a part of almost everything you do, if it's really a serious relationship. And now you have to live with being by yourself again, living alone again, doing everything by yourself again. It's difficult. Now, on the other hand, if you're the one who stepped out of the relationship to cause a problem, maybe you weren't doing enough to make sure that the relationship should advance, you weren't pulling your weight in the relationship, and the other person got fed up, you cheated on the person. If in any way you sort of caused it, you know, it's not reason enough to beat yourself up.
Oh, because you're human.
Of
People
course,
make mistakes.
people make mistakes.
Definitely, nobody's perfect.
People make mistakes, and sometimes when you're in a relationship, it's difficult to see the things you're doing wrong. especially when you've been together for a while, because you begin to take things for granted. Human beings are like that. At a point in our lives, we take things for granted when we get into a routine. So this is an opportunity if you're going through this breakup period and
to do an audit of who
course,
you are.
Ask yourself, okay, what kind of girlfriend was I? What kind of boyfriend was I? If it's, I mean, of course, divorce is much more serious, or a separation from a marriage, but what kind of wife, husband, spouse was I? How could I be a better person for the next person that I probably end up with?
And how can you be a better person for yourself?
Definitely.
Honestly, I think that is one thing we really need to focus on. But before we do that, we'll run for a quick break. You're still watching Citi Scape. We'll be right back.
Go.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you. 30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on Citi TV.
Go.
Welcome back. You're still watching Citi Scape right here on Citi TV. We're at Hotel Casarere and we're discussing how to deal with a bad breakup. So before we went on a break, Apiorkor made a point about getting your confidence back. So how do you do that, Apiorkor? How do you personally? I'm sure you've gone through breakup.
Oh yes, definitely.
In your very long life.
Shame on you. You're not that young, you know.
Yeah, you keep saying that.
But how do you get your confidence back? I think that first of all, you see, there's something that we call self-therapy. So we've spoken a little bit.
I'm very big on self-therapy.
We've spoken a little bit about that already.
Yes.
Locking yourself up and just
having a journal, taking yourself out on dates. I guess it's the same
talking
concept,
to yourself,
isn't it?
exactly.
Affirmations, the point we raised
talking
earlier.
to people you trust. But for some people, it's not that simple. Some people haven't reached the point where they even understand themselves well enough to give themselves therapy. Some people also are so introverted and they cut everybody off, even in the good times. So in the bad, it's even worse. They can't talk to any friends. They can't talk to family members.
So for someone like that, I mean, journaling would be a great way to get your emotions out.
And also exploring professional therapy. Professional therapy can come in many forms. You can talk to a therapist, a psychologist,
or even like someone at your church,
pastor,
if you're religious.
Exactly.
Yeah, but some people also feel like therapy is a bit extreme for a breakup. But then that's relationships are so important that you definitely do need to invest in therapy if you feel like it's taking such a huge toll on you.
There's something that I did after one of my very bad breakups. So I took a journal. I wasn't necessarily writing what you'd expect, but every day I was just chronicling how I was reacting to different situations. And then I realized that I was a shadow of myself. I wasn't myself. So because of that, I started speaking to people who had more information, who are professionals of this sort, just to get myself out of it to the point where I could continue to deal with the situation. But the point is, if you don't address it, and you just pretend everything will go away, you're sitting down wishing that the person will come back, I'm sure our next point, at some point, we'll start talking about social media and how
definitely. But I just really want to touch on something you said about being a shadow of yourself. I think, especially from a woman's perspective, I mean, I can't speak for any men out there, but I feel it's so important to understand that you can't go back to who you were. That's never going to happen because your relationship and your breakup have impacted you and they've contributed to your story, to your life's journey. So I think it's very important to gather yourself and move forward into being the person you want to be. Do you understand what I mean? So definitely taking in the good and the bad and finding a way to move forward. But saying that as well, creating a positive environment for yourself, being it work or your house or wherever it is you're going, is very important to your psyche as well. So for me, creating what I like to call an ex-free space is something that really helped me, especially in my last breakup. So people might think it's very petty, but getting rid of pictures, even jewelry, if you don't want to throw it away because it's expensive, I mean, sell it off. Clothing, things like that, things that won't trigger negative memories in your mind as well. I think that really helped me personally.
I think it's very important. For me, most of my exes, even the ones who have treated me very badly, are still my friends. And yeah, it's just the way I operate. I am built in a way that I can move on, and I can move on without, I mean, after the initial hurt.
By
and
friends,
pain.
you don't mean you guys will meet up.
No,
but it's
no,
just
no,
like
no,
a hi,
no.
hello.
Like, I mean, if any of them has a problem, he could call me and say, oh, I have this problem. Can you help me out? Can you give me this lead? But not that we're sitting down having drinks every Friday.
Okay.
No,
so
not at all.
friends is very, it's a very loose word to use.
But then again,
but you're
my
cordial.
friends in general, I don't meet up with them often. My friendships are not.
But then giving your ex that
friendships-
amount of access as well is a bit.
But that's the thing too. My exes were mostly my friends before we started dating. They're not people I met randomly.
But then you also have to
So,
go through the process
you
of
know.
like losing a friend, especially when you go through
And
a
like I'm
breakup.
saying, for me it's different.
It's different. Okay.
For me it's different. Me, I see everybody who enters my life as being there for a reason. Okay, and I have what I draw in terms of inspiration. There's one ex of mine, for example. His job is very, I mean, it's not a job that's common. There are not a lot of people in his space. So if I have one of my young mentees reach out to me and say, hey, I want to dabble in this career, he's the one I call. It doesn't mean that I'm calling him every day or every night.
That's a very healthy
On his birthday, I
approach.
can wish him a happy
That's
birthday.
a
He
very
wished me a
healthy
happy
approach.
birthday too. Occasionally, when we do talk, he will let me know, oh, you know, I'm going through this. What do you think I should do? But it's not to the extent that we're dependent on each other.
Yeah.
No, not
That's
at
very
all.
healthy. So, for example,
Not
if
at
you guys
all.
were friends, I'm guessing you were friends on social media as well beforehand. Would you completely cut them off social media, or it also depends on how bad the breakup is?
So now there are also those that I don't talk to at all.
Okay.
And it has a lot to do with how the breakup happened or even how we met. We weren't friends before. Maybe acquaintances. Maybe we had some things in common. But the bulk of my life from childhood through my teen years, through my early 20s, they didn't really share parts of that.
Okay.
So it's not too hard to let go of them.
Okay, but
You
those that
understand?
you had a closer relationship with.
Same circles.
Okay.
I'm still doing business with some common friends. I think it's just healthy to maintain.
So,
Otherwise,
okay,
it
well,
gets awkward.
Yeah, well, in that
See?
state, then I understand why it's important to have a
Yeah.
healthy, cordial relationship. But for me,
gets
going back to
awkward.
my ex-free space thing that I addressed, I think cutting your exes off social media is very healthy, especially in the beginning.
Oh yes, it
Because
can be.
a lot of people make the mistake of trying to be friends straight away, and I don't think that works.
No.
So for me, in that
You need to
respect,
breathe.
I think you definitely need to breathe. You definitely need to clear your space, clear your head of anything that reminds you of your ex, especially if it triggers a negative memory, before you can move forward.
Exactly. And then if you're friends on social media, you follow your ex on social media, you're constantly seeing the pictures they're posting if they're in a new relationship. If you're not over them, that
It makes
brings
it very
just brings a
hard.
whole cascade of feelings all over
Yeah,
again.
and it makes you more
makes it
prone to
difficult.
stalking as well, which is
Definitely.
unhealthy for you because you're not moving
Definitely.
forward.
Definitely. And you know, there's something about also putting your ex on blast on social media.
yeah.
And again, I'm not going to judge anybody. There are some people who get their healing through that. You know, you disgraced me. And I've had people say, oh, how did they disgrace you if the whole world didn't? But you're going out with another woman. People are seeing you. People might not come and ask you or say anything to you, but they know that, oh, this is Apiorkor's boyfriend, but he's with another girl, you know, or another woman.
Yeah.
And so without putting me on social media, you've sort of made a fool of me.
Yeah.
And so for some people, the natural reaction is to go and put you on blast. Oh, you're a big
on
cheat.
Twitter, on Facebook, all these social networks.
I've
where
seen
people
some guys do it
have
too.
rants
Yeah.
on social about their relationship.
Definitely.
Me, when I'm in a relationship, I don't usually put myself out there. I mean, I admire the way you and your husband do it, especially because you're married. But when I was in the dating phase, I never, not because I had anything to hide, but because I feel like you are still growing and learning about each other. You don't need all eyes on your
And
relationship,
there are a
because
lot
when
of
you
people-
break up, you have all these people to answer to
Definitely.
as well.
Well, you see, so there are a lot of people who have said that kind of thing to us. But
About your
Emefa,
marriage?
Yes.
What?
And even because, I mean, we were together for 7.5 years before we got married.
Yeah.
You know, so people, oh, you guys are all over
Also,
the
you were on
place. You
social
might
media
not-
even before you got
Yes,
married.
yes,
Oh,
of course.
okay,
So people
wow.
keep saying, oh, you shouldn't put yourselves out there too much, you know, whatnot. Now, this is what I have to say to such people, and maybe some of them are watching. You know me, Emefa, I'm an open book. And I turn every situation in my life into a teachable moment for myself and also for the people who follow me.
Which is very healthy. It's
so
a very healthy
if,
approach.
I mean, God forbid, that's not what I want, but if, I mean, for some reason we're not together anymore, I'll use it as a teachable moment to explain to people. I will probably give you all the details because I don't owe you that, you know, but this is what happened, this is what didn't happen, this is how I'm moving forward, and you can do it too. I've done it with my pregnancies, you've seen. Yes, and people have lambasted me for that as well. Why would you put your pregnancy? Not anybody, not everybody wants your good. But for me, I have people inboxing me when you are not there, telling me about the challenges they're having with their pregnancies, the challenges they're having
so the positives
with motherhood.
far outweigh the
you
negatives.
Understand?
Yeah,
it's not everything you
I think
see.
it all depends on how you approach these things, because we can have rules and regulations for different things, but I think it's also how you choose to implement them. You're still watching Citi Scape. We'll be right back.
Witness the twisted and tangled story of betrayal, greed, vengeance, and love in the award-winning Brazil Avenue. Carminia, a woman led by greed, gets rid of her husband, who is Rita's father, and sends Rita away to a filthy landfill. Rita finds love in Batata, but they are soon separated by adoption into different families, far away from each other. Many years later, all paths cross again, as Rita, now a renowned chef, seeks to pay back her stepmother for taking away her happiness as a child. It's the story of twists, turns, suspense, and thrilling action in Brazil Avenue. Brazil Avenue airs Wednesdays to Fridays from 10 to 11 p.m. only on Citi TV.
What are your opinions? Join the conversation on social media with the hashtags Citi Scape and MyScape, and via the handle at Citi Scape GH as well on Instagram. Now let's find out what's new in the city.
Hello there, and welcome to the What's New segment of Citi Scape right here on Citi TV. So can you guess where I am? I'm currently at Pulse Fitness in Ridge, Accra, and I'm joined by the beautiful Mami Apiorkor, who is also a personal trainer right here at the gym. So she's going to talk us through what to expect, especially if you're new to the gym, new to working out. So yeah, let's go. So, Mami Apiorkor, hello. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
I know I came to work out earlier with one of your personal trainers. It was absolutely insane. But I need to spotlight this gym. I need for people to understand how important it is to work out and what they can expect when they come to Pulse Fitness.
Okay. So when you come in, depending on the package you buy, you will be assigned to a personal trainer. But before you are assigned to a personal trainer, you will be taken through the fitness test. The fitness test helps us to know your strength level.
Okay.
For instance, how long can you jog? How many push-ups can you do? How many sit-ups? So based on the result, your trainer would build a diet plan for you, and then where to take you to, like the exercise, at which stage to start you.
Okay, and then do people always have to sign up for a personal trainer, or they can just come in, do the workout as in when they feel like it?
Okay. When you come in, depending on what you want, if you want a personal trainer, we give you a personal trainer to help you, one, to help you with your diet plan.
Okay.
Two, maybe there's a target, you want to get a flat tummy. On your own, you might not be so motivated to reach. So a personal trainer will be on you.
Would definitely motivate you.
If you're not able to come, he probably WhatsApp you, call you, and give you a plan, a workout plan to do at home and all that.
That sounds like such a good deal. So you come in, they test your fitness, they also get you a diet plan, get you a personal trainer, someone to motivate and push you. So what kinds of equipment do you have in here?
Okay, so we have the treadmill.
Pretty standard.
Yeah, we have a cross trainer, helps build your quads and your thigh. And then we have We have the bicycle.
Okay.
That one's used for cardio.
A lot of cardio workouts. So do you have anything for maybe like
we have a dumbbells.
Dumbbells,
we have
okay.
dumbbells to build your. And then we also have the bench.
Okay.
Yeah.
For doing weights and all sorts. Okay.
Yeah, we have the balls for tummy.
So that sounds like a wide variety of things. You can do some cardio, do some strength training.
Yeah.
You've got wide floors as well.
Yeah.
So I could go on the floor, do workouts with my
the
balls,
mats
my dumbbells, and all.
We have the Bosu ball too that you can use. The Bosu ball.
Wow, there's so many things.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you give us? Can you just touch on maybe your rates? Because some people might think Pulse Fitness is a little too expensive for them.
Okay, so we have a package for students. You just have to come in with your student ID to pay for the rates for students. And for a regular person, when you walk in, it's 400 cedis for a month.
Okay, I was about to say, okay, so 400 cedis per month, and how much for a day if you're just walking
When you're
in?
walking in, it's 40 cedis.
Okay, only 40 cedis.
Yeah.
And does that also come with a personal trainer, someone to help you out?
I mean, when you walk in, someone will assist you, but it won't be like a personal trainer, like I said.
I'm sure we'll move on to other aspects. You're going to talk me through the machines.
We also have the classes that we do in the evenings, like the
you
yoga.
have classes as well. Okay.
So I'm in charge of the yoga. So yeah.
Oh my God, a yoga instructor as well.
We have a dance aerobics. We have a bib test, and we have the boxing class too.
You have so many options here. I absolutely love the culture. But thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, now that I've found this little hidden gem, I'm sure I'm not going anywhere.
You should come. You should come.
Thank you so much. So this has been the What's New segment of Citi Scape right here on Citi TV. The show continues. Before we wrap up, do you have any final words for our viewers out there who might be going through terrible breakups?
I'll say that you can take the good and the bad from every situation. Yes, you're hurt, you're human, you're allowed to hurt, but this shouldn't change the course of your life, for lack of a better word. I mean, there are those situations where the person you're dating, because of financial circumstances, was really your lifeline. Maybe the person is paying your school fees. Maybe the person was the roof over your head. Maybe that person is the only friend you really ever had. But I think that everything happens for a reason. That's how I live my life. And because of that, if this happened to you and for some reason you find yourself in a situation where you're not in a relationship anymore, it's an opportunity to move forward, like you said earlier, and be a different you. A different you doesn't have to be a negative thing. A different you can be maybe now you can look for a job, get a career if you are dependent on the person. Maybe you can focus more on school and see things more clearly. Maybe it's a chance to put some pennies together and get your own house or your own apartment, your own single room or whatever it is. It might not be easy, but you need to understand that first you're an individual before you are part of that relationship in the first place. And you just need to focus on building that individual. And of course, I mean, you can reach out to us, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
We have lots of advice. We can direct you to professionals as well who can,
especially if you feel like it's taking a serious toll on you. But what I would say is that the universe, if you're spiritual, the universe will never send something your way that you cannot handle. So take this as another chapter in your life, build on it like Apiorkor has said, recreate you, create the person you've always wanted to be. Don't forget the lessons, don't forget to grieve, don't forget to audit your emotions and understand why you feel the way that you do. Write love letters to this person if you have to. Talk to them, express yourself, but it doesn't mean it's going to break you, because growth is never easy, but growth is definitely a beautiful thing, and there's always light at the end of the tunnel. So this has been Citi Scape. We've been here at Hotel Caserere with me and this lovely ceiling brush, Apiorkor, discussing how you can get over a bad breakup. And like Apiorkor said,
this tea bag. I don't know where that came from.
I don't even understand. And like Apiorkor said, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We have an Instagram page, Citi Scape GH, and we're on Twitter as well. Feel free to inbox us personally if you want to get things off your chest. So this has been Citi Scape on Citi TV. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.